Hello, welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. We're back in the Jank tank for our ridiculous combos and fun interactions, and we are going for a Tatyova ScapeShift combo. That's the name of the game today. See if we have any of these cards in the opening hand to highlight here. We're on the play. No, but I'm going to keep this hand. So the idea of Tatyova ScapeShift, Tatyova gives you a life and draws you a card whenever a land enters the battlefield. When you cast ScapeShift, you sacrifice all your lands and search your library for that many lands and put them onto the battlefield. So if you have a Tatyova, you get to draw a whole bunch of cards. We also have other ways to play lands and get multiple lands onto the battlefield, like Field of Ruin and Crucible of Worlds, that we'll be using here. We'll be cycling this land, even though you'd think we need it, because I plan to get it back later with the Crucible of Worlds. And we have plenty of board sweepers to try to make the combo possible. We're going to need them. Looks like our opponent is playing zombies. The good news about that is they probably don't have interaction for our Crucible. Yep, I love that Crucible animation, by the way, too. That'll let us play this Scatter Groves from the graveyard next turn. Here's a Lord of the Accursed, so the beatings continue. But the Scatter Groves will set us up for the Fumigate in the very near future. I'll just play the other Crucible, just in case our opponent somehow gets rid of one of them. Now we have two. Unclaimed territory on zombie. Perhaps we're playing the white zombies as well. Would definitely imply we're playing the white zombies as well. Our opponent going nuts, living the dream. Unfortunately for zombies, they are not immune to fumigation. Playing sweepers like Fumigate, Sweltering Suns, things like that, those I think will be Jank tank staples, because you can't just fill your deck with efficient removal spells like most modern Magic decks do. So you have to catch up somehow and do ridiculous things. All right. I think we will just commit that. Here's the ScapeShift. Sacrifice any number of lands, search for that many lands, put them on the battlefield tapped. It's good value with Crucible of Worlds. Crucible, you can still only play one land per turn. So if we do play the land from our graveyard, So what happens if we blow up, say, an unclaimed territory? We get a land and we can get our field back, so we can still commit. It leaves the Memorial in our hand, but I think it's a fine play. Possibly disrupt our opponent's mana base a little while getting lands out of our own deck. And we get that sweet, sweet Crucible value. I don't think we'll have time to activate this Memorial Genius anytime soon, but once you have enough lands on the battlefield, this becomes a nice combo where every other turn you draw two cards and you draw two cards and you just get it back. I guess every turn if you want. Mending of Dominaria, another fun card that you might see later, bringing lands back from the graveyard. All right, Field of Ruin comes right back out, and let's say a go. Death Baron, yep. So let's commit away the Josu. Don't really want to take a punch from that. The commits are also a great combo with Field of Ruin coming back over and over, because we make our opponent shuffle away the Josu. In this case, we can also make them shuffle away the Death Baron, which, I don't really care about the Death Baron. Fumigate's good against Death Baron, as the opponent has to play more stuff. We also, I guess, don't have to do this right now. So we will play our Memorial rather than using our Crucible value for the turn. I don't know why I have two options here. What happens if I pick this? Just place it. No big deal. Yep, definitely some white mana things going on. All right, let's sacrifice and hit... we'll keep blowing up the white sources. It doesn't appear that our opponent runs any planes. So if we blow up all their white sources with the field and they draw white cards, they might not be able to play them. Now, I still am not in a hurry to commit the Baron. The Baron on its own isn't very frightening to me. So, there you go. Let's keep it coming. Oh, the value. Oh, the Crucible value. Perhaps it's more of a Crucible of Worlds deck than even a ScapeShift deck or a Tatyova deck. Come at me, bro. I really want to hold my last commit for like a Liliana. The one that drains you, because that's a way that our opponent can kill us without using creatures or the red zone. And most of our deck can handle creatures or the red zone. Alright, let's keep going after these sources. It's interesting. I was trying to make a land destruction deck today. I was failing miserably. This deck might do better at destroying lands. It might blow up more lands than the dedicated land destruction deck could. Okay, we could blow up this Memorial to Genius. That sounds great. Oh yes. Oh yes. Alright, let's bring this back, even though we have other lands we could play. Deploy our search. And the value is getting a bit crazy in here. The value town is going nuts. Props to our opponent. They keep finding the white sources. Still happy to take the damage. We have ways to gain it back. Holding the commit for like what I would call severe emergency. Cycle the Scattered Groves. Find a Fumigate. We might just, we're so far ahead on cards, it's very possible we're just going to Fumigate the Baron. And, I could take the Forsake the Worldly, but I can't even think of any targets, so I'll take the Farmland. Which I can cycle as well, but also goes to the graveyard to get back later with Crucible, which we're so far ahead on that we probably don't need, but it's all the same. Yes, library. Draw. Alright, let's keep this coming back. And now that we have 2 commits, I'm perfectly fine with committing the Baron. 1, 2... becomes 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Just making sure I have the right mana. Keep blowing them up. 1 more plains. So from this point forward, there's going to be diminishing returns on using our field because it doesn't put another land into play for us. But, alright. So... should have done this first, I guess, if I want to shuffle away, but I actually don't mind. You know, now that I think about that more, I didn't think about it enough in the first place, but now that I think about it more, I don't even mind my opponent drawing that card again, instead of something more threatening. On its own, that Baron is just a 2/2. Very scary with a horde of zombies, but not scary at all on his own. Graveyard's fine. Transform. Draw. Hey! Okay, so our opponent's very likely to have a removal spell. Probably 2. But what are they likely to be? A cast down. Only a Vraska's Contempt can interact with this at instant speed. So let's play it and see what our opponent does. They're likely to take action almost immediately. Getting back the Field of Ruin's fine, but we don't have any more basics in our deck. But it's untapped, so we might be able to use it this turn is the question, and I think we can. So here's something's getting pointed, and it is a Vraska's Contempt. We could commit it. If our opponent doesn't have another Vraska's Contempt, we might get to untap and ScapeShift. So I'll take that chance to do what the deck is made for. Do what you were meant to do. Dubs. Oh, how unfortunate. All right, we'll end the turn. And you see the potential of playables growing and growing. The Baron returns. Let's go ahead and cycle. Keep playing some lands out of the graveyard. Let's see what to do now. Not much, to be honest. We can just discard a land here and say go. An Evolving Wilds makes sense as there's no more basics in the deck. Our opponent redraws their Vraska's Contempt. And we'll just seal away, take care of this. And let's go searching for the Azcanta. Another Forsake is fine, we'll cycle it. And a farmland, cycle that. The value is getting ridiculous. How can anyone stand up to such value? Guess we'll play second search. Can't hurt. How does he... You might start wondering at any point here how the deck actually wins. Well, normally we gain so much value and get so far ahead and then beat our opponent down with like Ramunap Excavators, Tatyovas, and things of that nature. If the opponent doesn't concede, most opponents are happy to scoop by this point, but, you know, I ask people to play it out, and by God, please do, then it is perfectly fine. The deck is basically a big old value-gasm, I would say. Ramunap Excavator, we do have a Wayward Swordtooth that provides the beats. I mean, yeah, we just kind of win with dorky little creatures, but if we have to, if we absolutely have to, we will Ipnu Rivulet you every turn. Every turn, by bringing it back with Crucible of Worlds. Don't make me do it. Don't make me go there. Now, since our win conditions are not spells that we can find with Azcanta, it's better to keep using the Memorial to Genius to find them. And decline. Don't need to transform you. Ha! The Rivulet. Oh my. Well, there's a long way to go, but it is an option. I should not have actually played it there. I should have let it go to my graveyard. Oh well. And then I could play it from the graveyard later. So we'll discard those lands. The graveyard pile is getting epic. Death Baron returning. Pumping up the Stitcher Supplier. We don't want to exile the Stitcher Supplier. I want very much to fumigate it. Make our mill process a little faster. Alright. Let's go. And it all becomes clear what is happening. Oh no. Another commit. Excellent. Just a little insurance policy. Library. Decline. Draw. Not that we need more value, but because, well, everybody likes to see it. Alright, let's Fumigate first. We do know our opponent has another Vraska's Contempt, so this is going to be a short-lived Tatyova. They hit a Dread Wanderer, good for them. We could wait till we can have a commit for the Vraska's Contempt and the Tatyova, so I guess that's fine. Where's that forest? More lands in the graveyard. Here's the Wanderer. Yep. Where's the Seal Away? There it is. Keep the Rivulet coming. Gate to the Afterlife. Our opponent is running GPG Zombos. Alright, that's funky. Unless it's just... Unless there's no God Pharaoh's Gift. Huh. Haven't seen that one yet. Haven't worked on it either. Alright, the Mending is here. Let's Tatyova on the field. Rivulet to the battlefield. Opponent will Contempt. I will commit the Contempt. Alright, and end the turn. Graveyard Marshal. Pretty good with a whole bunch of stuff in your yard. But we still have all of the answers. All he can do is make a bunch of Zombos. We'll keep hitting upstairs. Although it's possible that I may just use Memory ScapeShift. Memory ScapeShift to show you what the deck does, so maybe I should stop hitting upstairs. Library's fine. Guess it doesn't matter. We don't need to ScapeShift. We have such a small deck now, but we could cast Memory, then cast ScapeShift if we redraw it. I think what I'll do here is play the Mending and show that side of the combo. All right. Oh, the options. There's so many. So what Mending does is top 2 cards into the graveyard. A creature card, if it's in your graveyard, can go to your hand. And on the 3rd, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. That will also trigger Tatyova, so it's like another ScapeShift. Opponent's going to make their Zombos now. They're going to start using Deadlands, perhaps? Or they drew a removal? Let's find out which. Alright, so we're going to have to Field of Ruin the other Deadlands to keep our Tatyova alive here. For next turn. Unless our opponent has something I'm missing. Oh, they do have... They can double Deadlands here. That's probably what's going on. My bad. Didn't spot it. However, we get it right back with Mending, because the next chapter on Mending will return it to our hand. So, not done. Alright, let's see if this puts our opponent on the full tilt train. Hello, I'm targeting. Hello. This is pretty funny. Yep. That'll bring out the full tilt. So before we really got to see the mending go, but I don't blame our opponent for leaving. It was an epic value-gasm of a game. You have to like the Dirtle. You gotta be into the Dirtle to play the Crucible value game. So let's have a look at the deck really quick. There it is. There's our buddy. So 4 seal aways because we need to stay alive. Anticipate to try to find the key pieces. Search for Azcanta. Forsake the Worldly. I like it. For some reason, it seems to be filling a need. It always seems like I have a vehicle or a creature or an artifact creature or something I need to forsake. And I wasn't sure. The other card I had in here before that was Anticipate, but I found myself just getting... Okay, I remember what it was for sure now that made me try this card. It was Ixalan's Binding. Somebody put Binding on my Tatyova, and while I do have the commits, I just couldn't seem to pull it. So I added some Forsakes because of darn Ixalan's Binding, but I haven't regretted it. I've always found targets. I would understand wanting to try something else. So if there's something you really want in the deck, this is probably the easiest slot to adjust. Ramunap Excavator, Wayward Swordtooth, and Crucible of Worlds all playing with the land package. Wayward Swordtooth letting us play multiple lands a turn is really good. Then we do Settles and Fumigates, lots of them to keep from dying. The ScapeShift combo with Tatyova, and also the Mending combo if a Tatyova dies, or if most of our lands are in the graveyard, not in the library. And you saw just how much value you can get. In the mana base, sometimes you gotta do Crucible Rivulet wins. It's really funny against control. Memorial to Genius can just help you dig through the deck. The cycle lands are great with the Excavators and Crucibles. Evolving Wilds, just a couple. We usually run out of basics pretty fast thanks to Field of Ruin, which we run plenty of. Reliquary Tower, so you have no maximum hand size, is a good one too. And Arch of Orazca. I think we can go for one more. That was a long game. These tend to be long games. This may be a longer video, but the Jank tank and all of its goofy synergies and interactions seem to enjoy these longer videos. Alrighty. I think we can keep this. We have Ramunap and Evolving Wilds, so if left unmolested can kind of go off on its own. But if our opponent does come at us hot and heavy with a board presence and kill our Excavator, we have Fumigate and Commit to fall back on. I'm not sure what's going to happen if this is a control deck. Oh boy. Yep. This could get interesting. Alright, so I will be playing around nothing. I don't think our deck can really afford to. So the line is very likely to be Field of Ruin something, and then Ramunap Excavate back the field if possible. Okay, resolves. I was just kind of waiting on the disallow there. I was holding my breath a little bit. Alright, we'll go for the Excavator. Syncopate, very annoying. Exile, you gross. And we've got at least 3 cards that are likely to be completely dead and useless. And Teferi. I'm just not going to play this game. It's not fun.
I won't hide from the world any longer.
I would rather give you a fun game than lose to Teferi for the next 20 minutes. So I'm going to try to find one more. If I weren't recording, I might play that out and at least try to learn how the game goes. But playing Jank versus Teferi control is likely to take a lot of time out of your life and depress you and me. Therefore, I'm not going to worry about learning anything about the matchup. I'm just going to get a different game. If I were the type to edit my videos and figure out how to use that software, I could just cut it. But I'm still the one take. I still hit record. I see what happens. If it's good, I keep it. And I upload it. If it's not good, I don't upload it. And that's the whole way it is. But you know that everything you see is real. Okay, we got something funky cooking from our opponent. Some kind of a blue-green silliness. Maybe even more colors than that. Maybe it's a Teamer Energy. Thrashing Brantodon. Makes you not want to play a Seal Away. But do I have a choice? I guess I should. If my opponent wants to sack the Brantodon, I'll sack the Brantodon. It is what it is. Alright, draw Forsake. Don't really want to play an Excavator here. If my opponent taps out, sealing away the Brantodon would be great. Seal Leaf. Okay, so it's just green. It's just green aggro splashing blue. Alright, I'll play the other Seal Away. My opponent will sack probably in response to get back the Servant, and that's fine. It is what it is, but we prevent some damage. And we try to build towards our Fumigate. We're going to need to draw some land. We have a Cycler to help us do it. But now the Brantodon's off the board, and the creatures will hopefully get eaten up. That is an unfortunate draw. That is not a land either. You try to build a deck around lands. Oh boy. Fingers crossed. Fail. Yep. That'll do it. Just end the game. There you go. Good boy. Yep. Nothing like a missed land drop or two to ruin a game, but at least it was quick. And therein lies the biggest problem with this deck, even though I do love the green matchup most of the time, very much. You're always just a land drop away from having no chance when you're leaning so heavily on Fumigate to keep you in games. Ooh, a rematch. Okay, well now we know that we're against a fast mono green deck, so we can at least try to evaluate our hands that way. It means that Ramunap Excavators are likely to live, which is nice. Same thing with Wayward Swordtooths. We do have Settle. We again have 3 lands, but I mean, I can't just mulligan and only keep 4 lands. We're on the draw, which is not good, but I don't think there's much to be done. Our opponent at least doesn't have a turn 1 Llanowar Elf. We are fortunate in that. I'm going to play the Scattered Groves this time. I don't think I can afford to cycle it here and risk not being able to play a land in the future. Gotta hit all the land drops we can hit. There's the Llanowar Elves. Going with a bit of a clunker of a hand. Well, I'm all for that. Let's get a Search for Azcanta online. right away. It's interesting because I both want to keep lands and bin lands. It's a tough call. So if we put that in the graveyard, then play an Excavator, we're very likely to be able to get it later. But if we keep it right now, we're likely to have 4 lands on time, but none of them would be white. Graveyard. Ugh. Draw. Okay. Not bad at all. Trying to decide whether or not to use Field of Ruin here, but... We could also just play the Excavator and have it online starting next turn, but I'm unlikely to use it next turn is the thing. But I don't have a good seal away target either. Yeah, we're just going to deploy Excavator now. It's the best use of our mana. It's unlikely to die in this matchup. Ronus is here. Ronus is dangerous. Don't need you. We have our effect for that with the Ramunap Excavator. There's a card we very much want to see, but we need to hold up the Settle and the Commit right now because Fumigate does not destroy Ronus, and we may have to commit that Ronus. One way that we can ensure that we'll have an untapped land for next turn is to Field of Ruin one of our opponent's lands. We'll see how this turn plays out. It's a lot that could happen here. Including pumps. Lots of pumps. And that's it. Well, we could settle it. Or we could commit the Fumigate, or commit the Ronus and try to Fumigate next turn. I think we'll just take the damage. We also have to check for Blossoming Defense, of course. But what would be great is if our opponent also plays a Galta here, but they don't. So let's go after this Ronus. Blossoming Defense. Yep. Graveyard that. Draw. Another Excavator. Land from the graveyard. Ooh, value. Our opponent's very likely to only attack with a Vine Mare, so now what we have to do is settle the Vine Mare, then get the Ronus to attack, then seal it away. No hesitation. Dude's just gonna crash with big horse. There's the Galta. Okay. Oh, yes. All right, so we're at 7. So we got a little lucky here. So I don't want to give my opponent access to Blossoming Defense again, although I'd love to use his Field of Ruin. But I don't think it's worth it. Though if our opponent had Blossoming Defense, they wouldn't do things this way. So I'm going to say they don't have it. Who knows? They might even have an elf. So this could really cost me, but we're making a read. Actually, no. I can't get the Excavator value anyway. So, because the Excavator is about to die, it has to block. So take Ronus. Block Vine Mare. It has Trample, I know, but we'll still be alive. Graveyard. Draw. Fumigate, and we still have a Settle. So we came out of that the way we needed to. Another Vine Mare returns. Annoying, yes. End of the world, absolutely not. We'll look desperate, intentionally. We wanted to hit another land. That way next turn we can play Excavator and get that land back. Hitting another land is just fine. Means we get to hit our land drop for the turn. Yep. Settle ya. Got a negate. Usually when they run blue, it's for commit to memory and or negate. So those are the cards I'm watching out for. Commit and negate. And if they had it there, there was nothing I could really do. Just the way it goes sometimes. Branchy is here. Steel Leaf on top is pretty nice. And the party continues. Deck is basically endless pressure. Shall we excavate? I think I want to shuffle this away. So I'm going to blow up my opponent's Hash Up Oasis, which could be a real pain next turn. Actually, let's keep a Seal Away bluff open. I guess I don't have double green, so I better grab it. Okay, we can play field and do another field, blow up another land. If we take away our opponent's blue mana, whatever their blue card is, we don't have to worry about it. We could also play another search to help us find the right draws and play the farmland. And I think I like that better. So that worked out really well. Our opponent had a Steel Leaf on top. We pretty much took that out. Ooh. I think I eat that elf. I think it's the right play. Oh yeah. All right. Decline. So sorry, little excavator. You're gonna have to die. We could also hold it for something bigger. Or we could just hold and trade with our opponent's... No, none of it's that good. Trying to get like one more piece of value out of this is probably a bad idea. Definitely not using you. We might still use the field though. So I think tapping like this is great. And let's end that turn. Let's begin using Azcanta. Fine. So, how many Crucibles did we put in the graveyard? 2 Crucibles and 2 Excavators. So, that's cut off a bit. Fortunately, there's not that much land in the graveyard to feel bad about. We still want to set up our Druid, or our Tatyova ScapeShift here would be a great way to kick out of this, so to speak. But I'm going to hold up right there for now. There she is. What's the opponent thinking about here? Wonder if they have like disallow or some shenanigan. Sorry for all the quietness. This deck actually does do a lot of brain drain, if you're not. There's a lot going on. So we'll sack you. Yep, I'm all that brain drain, and I'm one short of what I wanted to do this turn. So sorry about that. I thought I was going to have enough mana after this to be able to ScapeShift as well. Looks like I'm going to come up short on that plan. Servant is here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 land, 13, 14, 15, 16 land. So there should still be 10 lands in the deck. I don't really want to sacrifice my Azcanta, but all the rest can go. Let's tap it all for mana first. So pick out our lands. This is what's going to go. We're going to search our library for the replacements here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Getting the Evolving Wilds is pretty silly, and I probably shouldn't have, as I doubt there's more lands in the deck to fetch. But I was just hyped to do my combo, to do the things. Hallelujah. Nope, no green. I always have to remember to tap for green, and I forget. But our opponent's seen enough, and I can't blame them one bit. So, sorry for the misplays there. At the end, it is, like I said, it's a pretty brain drain deck to play, but we got there and showed at least what the deck can do and got a little bit of vengeance against the mono green player. I hope you've enjoyed this journey into the Jank tank with Tatyova Shift and this lovely day in the arena. Until next time, it's me, I'm CGB, and I'm out of here.